Okay, so this is the day after the marathon. Feeling good, feeling strong. We just had coffee. We're the only two morning people, and we're also the only two here doing a PhD. So I thought this is Jenna here. I thought that we're going to talk about the hardest things about a PhD. It won't be that long, but I guess just insights from not just me. So I'll give it to you. Why is a PhD kind of hard? Because you have to hold the microphone.
Okay. Yeah. So a PhD is hard from my perspective because of the uncertainty of it. You're not laid out like a roadmap of what you're going to do step by step. And neither are you are with a normal job, let's say, but there's much more unknown. And I think what makes that difficult is that, like, I don't know, I'm someone who likes some element of control, and yeah, it being so uncertain makes you feel like you're out of control, like basically constantly. It's exciting, but it's also really scary. Yeah.
Wait, when you say uncertainty, what do you mean? Is it uncertainty with the work? Is it the uncertainty with knowing what you're going to do next? Is it the uncertainty of, is this something I actually want to do? Because it's a long-term investment. It's not like I'm going to leave the company in 6 months. I'll just push through. Like, where does the uncertainty manifest itself for you?
So for me, it's because there are so many different ways you can go, like so many different paths, especially with our project. Like there are many, many questions to ask, but there's uncertainty in knowing which ones you can actually answer with the resources we have. And yeah, knowing which ones like are worth investing in, because otherwise you waste a lot of time doing something.
But where does the uncertainty? Is it in the deciding of there's this path, there's that path, there's that path. I don't know where any of them end, but I have to pick one now, because how I see it is the actual work of a PhD, like sitting behind your computer doing some maths or doing some code or whatever, is really not that difficult. The the idea of it being something that needs to be novel, that sounds like a very prestigious word. It's not necessarily what I'm meaning, but you can view it from that angle. But there's something of like, this question has never been answered before. So I don't know if it's the right question to ask, and secondly, the right question to actually get some sort of answer. So that's where you pick a path and you say, hey, why is the sky not purple? Now that question, you can be like, but the sky is blue. But asking the question, why is the sky not purple? What answer are you going to come to? You will probably come to some sort of answer, but will the answer even
Have value
yes
for society?
mean anything?
And also, how do we know that question hasn't been asked before? You know, there's so much knowledge in the world, that's why I actually think that I've given up on that idea of a PhD being something that you're going to be doing something completely novel, because I see it from the other PhD students around me and also from my own work. Like, it's just going to be like a piece of the pie, you know, like if you imagine progress like as an arrow upwards, we are these like little, yeah, hopefully we are these little kind of branches off this progress that help in some way moving the progress of science forward, but we're not going to be the ones making those big pushes, or at least I feel that way. I would like to be, but
Isn't every step of your like arrow, I can draw it here, something novel? Like the little step up. It's not like you have to design the whole ladder, but every step that you do, you've asked a question and answered a question that nobody has before.
yeah. So I mean, you can take it with my first experiment, for example. That was asking a question actually that had been asked before, but there wasn't like enough evidence for it. The way the design of the experiment was not good enough, let's say. and we used a novel design, but the question itself was asked before. It's just how this design was set up. And I think often science proceeds in that way, where people like borrow kind of ideas of other people, because you have to consider literature, right? You have to consider what's already known, because that's the whole point of science, is that we build on what's already known. It's tricky, I think.
Yeah, I guess that is a fair point, and I think there are the limited few people that are in PhDs that will change the world. The rest of us, yeah, like I think a lot of the intention is to be like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna do that, but you make small steps. What is that very cheesy quote that's like stand on the shoulders of giants or something like that? I think that's Google Scholars. Yeah, I'll put Google Scholars like catchphrase. So, yeah, I think I think PhD is sold as this like amazing, great thing. But I also think that for an individual, and maybe this is a very selfish reason for myself, is that you get a lot of time to think in directions that you want to think in. And whether it comes into fruition with regards to experiment or an answer or whatever, it helps. I'm not working with a company's agenda to be like, oh, we need to make this AWS pipeline cheaper. How are we going to do it? It's thinking like, why is the sky not purple? Like, does it really matter that the sky is not purple? I don't know, but I'm curious about it, so let's investigate it. So, yeah, anyway.
That would be a reason to do a PhD, I think, like in comparison to working in a company, because it's, you can kind of also follow your intuition a bit and decide on what you want to think about, instead of, like you said, I mean, there's still boundaries, right? Well, we still have to study within the bounds of our grant project and appease our supervisors too. So there are other aspects that we do have to consider, but we have a lot more freedom, I think, and that's also that freedom. With that freedom comes the uncertainty
and the responsibility that it's your own thing. So if you don't do the work, you don't make the decisions, you don't go forward, you won't make any progress, because no one is this your supervisor is not okay. I speak from my own experience. This is my first PhD, so I don't know. But it is all on your shoulders. And I personally love that. Like, give me the responsibility. I'm happy with that. Like, I want to make the decisions kind of thing. But yes, there are boundary conditions.
But that also would bring me on to something that like is very close tied to what is the hardest thing about doing a PhD is how lonely it can feel, because you are on your own there. Like, even if your team is supporting you, ultimately it's your job. You're not as much working in a team as you would in a company, or for some like common goal. You have your own goals, and I think that is also, for me at least, one of the most difficult things, because I feel like my goals change. I don't always know to rely on myself. It would be nice to rely on other people, and for them to rely on me, to have this. But yeah, so that's also pretty difficult.
I agree. So I guess the conclusion is you need to be curious, you need to be self-motivated,
Definitely.
And
be able to tolerate uncertainty.
And to tolerate uncertainty. So, thanks for coming to our TED Talk. We're going to go to a lake now. Yeah. Goodbye. Oh my gosh, look how blue this is.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow. Jeez Louise.
So blue.
How does it stay that blue?
Glacial water, maybe.
A lot of chlorine.
It still can't see the island.
Are those people trying to row themselves?
Yeah.
What?
2,500 meters.
That's Lake Bled. Welcome to the lake. Wow. Look at that. This is the castle in the middle of the lake. Look how blue it is. Do you think I can see the bottom? Ooh, that actually hurt.
I really hope that's what you
We're going in Lake Bled. It's so cold, guys!
I think it's like a right passage where then you do.
Wait, do that again. I didn't capture the jiggle. What is this called? Cream cake.
But I think what's
Slovenian cream cake. Now we're having it.
It's Bled.